Okay, so we are discussing about Java 8 futures. So let us do a quick recap from the beginning. So what are the concepts that we have discussed so far? We have discussed about the lambda expression, and we got to know what is a lambda expression and how to write lambda expression. Always remember this syntax. Okay, so parameters followed by arrow token followed by the block of the lambda expression. Okay, always remember this syntax to implement lambda expression. So and also we have understood about the usage of functional interfaces. So we use lambda expression only to invoke functional interfaces. So we know what is functional interfaces. So whenever you come across this word functional interface, always remember this acronym SAM. SAM. SAM stands for single abstract method. So any interface with only one abstract method is called as functional interface. That's it. So you don't need to keep much doubts about this. And already we have predefined functional interfaces, and we have also discussed about the purpose of functional interfaces, and we have also discussed about the functional interface annotation. If you want, you can refer my previous videos for the better understanding. And we have got to know how to invoke lambda expression using functional interfaces. We have seen the importance of default and static methods. They are introduced in 1.8 version, and also we have started discussing about the predefined functional interfaces in JDK 1.8. We have completed predicate. So almost we have taken 3 to 4 classes to complete the predicate function. Today the function, there is an interface called function. We will understand something about the function interface. Trust me, it is going to be very easy. It is going to be very interesting. So the topic of discussion is what? The function interface. So the common points that we can write under the function interface is what? There are 3 common points. Function interface is a functional interface that was introduced in JDK 1.8 version, the first common point, and it is available in java.util.function package. The third point is, since it is a function interface, it has only one abstract method, but the name of the method is what? The apply method. There is a method, there is an abstract method inside this function interface, and the name of the method is what? The apply method. So I will tell you something about this function interface. Before understanding about the function interface, so there is one drawback in the predicate interface. So we have discussed about the predicate interface already. Yes, no, yes or no? We know what is a predicate. So predicate is a function interface. So usually what the predicate does, predicate always performs the conditional checks. Don't you think so? Whatever the input that you give, no matter whatever the input that you are going to give, the output will be evaluated in the form of what? The conditional checks. Either it will return true or false. Apart from this, do you think you can implement any other functionality apart from the conditional checks? No. The predicate interface is designed in such a way that it will always perform the conditional check. The output would be either, the return type is always Boolean, which means output can be true or it can be false. True or false. Right? But input can be anything. Right? For example, let us, for the better observation, let me show you one image. Okay, I want to show you one image. Okay, forgot about that image. So what I want to do is, in the predicate you can return what is the what is the default method that what is the abstract method that you have in the predicate interface. So this is how the it can be defined. You have predicate and the type is going to be t, right? And this is how the interface looks like. So predicate, the type is going to be t, and this is representing an interface. So when I say t is what? It is the input type. You can give the input as any type. It can be any data type. You can give it as a string type, you can give it as the integer type, you can give it as a floating point type, you can give it as a character type, and so on. Okay, there is no restriction for the input, but there is a restriction for the output, because the output is always going to be what? Going to be what? Boolean type. It will evaluate the input in such a way that the output will be returned in the form of Boolean condition. So that's why the return type of this, there is an abstract method. The return type of the abstract method is what? The Boolean method. I mean Boolean. So the name of the abstract method is test. Okay, and it is going to take the input type as t. Okay, so this t type is talking about the input. This is talking about the input. This is talking about the return type. Right, so this is all about predicate, but the function, when you talk about, we are discussing about what? We are discussing about the function. The function is in functional interface. Okay, here the for the predicate, the output, the return type is conditional check, which means Boolean type. But for the function interface, the return type can be anything. The return type can be anything. It can be what? It can be Boolean type, no matter what. It can be Boolean type, it can be string type, it can be integer type. Okay, it can be any type, it can be any class type, and so on. It can be anything. Okay, well, the conclusion is function can return any kind of value. Function is an interface which can return what? Which can return any kind of values. Right, so you can, if you pass the, if you if you pass the input, I mean this is how it can be defined, declared. So interface function. Okay, and it will ask you, it will take two arguments. One is the t type, second one is the r type. Okay, the t stands for the input type, the r stands for the return type. So there is one abstract method called the apply method. Okay, this apply method will consider the input type as t, and it will consider the return type as r. So when you see this, okay, the return type can be anything here. If you make an observation, r is defining the return type. It can be anything. It can be Boolean, it can be string, it can be integer, whatever it is. But inside the predicate interface, the return type is always Boolean. This is always fixed for the predicate. But for the function, it is not fixed. Okay, it's up to you. If you want to give the return type as integer, you can give. If you want to give the return type as Boolean, you can give. If you want to give the return type as string, you can give. The control is in your hands. Right, you have a lot of options for the return type, especially for the function interface. The functionality is going to be same. Okay, the lambda expression is going to be what? The way you are going to write the lambda expression will not get affected, but the way you are defining the return type is in your hands. We will discuss, we will understand this with a few examples for the better clarity. Okay, let me introduce a small example for the function interface. Since we are discussing about the function interface, I want to help you, I want to understand this with a small example. The first example I want to take is, just focus here. First example, so I want to write a function. I want to do what? I want to write a function to find, I mean to convert the given string, to convert the given string to uppercase. Example, if I am passing the string as Ratna, okay, if I am giving the input as Ratna, the output should be what? The output should be, the string should get converted to the uppercase. Everything should be in uppercase. Everything should be what? In uppercase. Right? For example, if I pass the input string as Jyoti, okay, the output has to be what? In the uppercase. And so I want to write a function for this. So these are my inputs and I should get output. Now we need to make two observations here. So I am saying that these are the inputs. I will pass input as a string. These are my inputs. Okay, I want to get output as this. What are the observations that we can make here? So the input is string, the output is string. Yes or no? Input is string, the output is also string. Right? So ideally, though, when I say input is a string. We are going to pass a string. So this is talking about T. This is talking about what? R. So the T is referring to the input, R is referring to the output. T is referring to the input, R is referring to the output. Okay, how we can write a function for this? Writing a function for this is very simple. Take the interface name and take the take the interface keyword and take the interface name, which is function. Okay, and the syntax is this function will accept two things. One is what? One is T, second one is R. Okay, T is talking about input, R is talking about the return type. So this is what input is. Input is T type, which is string type. Output is what? Output is the R type, which is also string type. Because since we are dealing with strings, you are passing a string and you are going to get the output as the string. That is our requirement, isn't it? So instead of T and R, you will replace this T and R as string and string. What you will do? You will replace T. Instead of T, you will use string, and instead of R is representing the return type. So you will use string. So this is how you can deal with the syntaxes, right? And after this, there is a method called apply method, right? So let me write this over here. Let me write this. So this is T type and this is R. Okay. We have an apply method. Okay, and go to the apply method, write apply. Okay, apply is going to take the T as the argument. Okay, just replace the T with the given type. What is the given type? String. Right, you can take any variable name. I am taking the S as the variable name, and the return type is what? String type. Return type is also string type. So I am taking the return type as string. I am just replacing the syntax with the respective data type space, nothing else. Okay, this is representing R. This is representing R, which is return type. This is representing T, which is what? Input type. So two arguments. It is going to take two arguments. One is input type, second one is return type. This is how you are going to write the function interface. For this, especially for this example, let us do this in the programmatical form. Okay, so let me write a code for this. So I am not going to use the lambda expression. Firstly, I will directly write the code without using the lambda expression. Then we will do the conversion. First program I am going to do like this. Then after this example, the remaining example, we will write the lambda expressions directly. Okay. So what we need to do, our class needs to do what? Our class needs to implement the function interface. Okay. According to our example, the inputs are string, output is also string, right? According to our example, so the input is of what type? String type. The output is also of what type? The output is also what? String type, right? Then we need to implement what? We need to implement the unimplemented methods. We need to override the unimplemented methods because function interface has one abstract method. We need to override that method, right? So I'm using a shortcut to override that method. So now the method is getting overridden, right? So apply method, I'm overriding the apply method. I'm doing what? I'm just overriding the apply method. Okay, so apply method has been overridden successfully. After overriding the apply method, I want to write a logic, right? I want to write my own logic. What I want to write? Okay, we will take a string and we need to return what? We need to convert the string to the uppercase. Right? What is our actual requirement? What is our actual requirement? Write a function to convert the given string to uppercase. Right? So we need to write a logic in such a way that that logic is going to return the string into the uppercase. So to return, write a function to convert the given string into uppercase. Right, so I will be collecting the string in the parameter. So I will be taking that string and I will be using what? To uppercase method. Okay, that's it. The logic is completed. The logic has been successfully completed. What I have done so far, I am just trying to implement the function interface to write a logic. What is my logic? I need to convert the string into the uppercase. That is my logic. So this is the logic that I have written. So I am not using lambda expression here. Not using lambda expression here. Okay, after writing this logic, I want to invoke this method. To test my functionality, I want to invoke this method. How I can invoke? Usually, I will be using the reference of the function interface. Both are of what type? String type. String, comma, string. Okay, let me take the name of as the convert to UC, uppercase, convert to uppercase. The meaningful name I am taking it here. Okay, now I want to call what I want to I want to create the object for the driver class. Okay, now by using this reference variable, I want to call what? I want to call the apply method. Okay, so inside this apply method, I want to pass an argument. I want to pass what? If I pass Ratna, inside this apply method, if I pass Ratna, so this is going to convert this string into uppercase. I want to store that somewhere. I want to, or else I want to display this in the console. What I can do, I can use system.out.println statement. I can just directly call that apply method inside this SOP statement. If I run this code, the output is going to be in capital letters. So Ratna has been completely converted to uppercase. If I pass Jyoti here, okay, Jyoti will be converted to the uppercase. Whatever the string that you are passing, that is getting converted to the uppercase. So we are done. So this function has been written. This program has been written without using the lambda expression. How I can convert this program by using the lambda expression. Okay? So we have discussed these things already. I am just giving you some recap. That's it. Going forward, we will not do every time. We will not do this. We will directly write the lambda expression. Okay, for your understanding, I am doing these things once again. Okay, focus here. So this is the code without the lambda expression. I hope the code is visible clearly. Okay, the code without using the lambda expression. I want to use the lambda expression. Okay, in order to use the lambda expression, what are the things that we need to remember? So this concept is not required. You do not want to do this. You do not want to implement these things, right? I can directly write what? I can directly write public class driver, right? So instead of doing it here, I can say, so this concept is not required. You do not want to do this. I can remove this. Implements concept is not required for the lambda expression. I can remove this. Okay, I can copy this method. I can cut this method. I can directly place it here. I can directly place it here. Okay, so for the lambda expression is what? Lambda expression is anonymous function. So the access modifier is not required. I'm removing this. Okay, the return type is not required. I'm removing this. The method name is also not required. I'm removing this. Okay, and how I can optimize this code further? Okay, if there is only one parameter, okay, the data type is also not required, because based upon the context, the compiler will recognize the data type. I can remove this, and I need to place an arrow token between these two. I need to place an arrow token between these two. Okay, if there is only one parameter, only one variable, this parenthesis is also optional. I can remove this. If there is only one line of code, okay, so this is also this body of the lambda expression is also optional, and the return keyword is also optional. Okay, so this is how the code looks like. Okay, the same code I have used now. I have used the lambda expression. By using lambda expression, this is how the code looks like. Now code has become completely readable. Only 2 lines of codes are there. Okay, you pass one string, and after passing that string, okay, that string gets converted to the uppercase. Right now, what I want to do, I want to do this in a better way. So I have the list of strings. I have array of strings. Okay, let us say that names. Okay, inside this I have some names like I have Ratna. Okay, let me take my name also, Balaji. Okay, let me take Jyoti. Okay, let me take Ramya, and let me take Venkatesh. Okay, 5 names I have. I want to convert all these names to uppercase. How I can do that? I can use a for loop, enhanced for loop. Okay, and the type is string type, and I can give any reference variable name string s, and all the array, all the data is stored in this names array. I can call these names. Here I can use the system.out.println statement, and I can call the apply method on top of this, right? I can call the apply method. I can pass this respective strings, right? What will happen if I run this? All the names that are in this string array will get converted to the uppercase. Ratna, Balaji, Jyoti, Ramya, and Venkatesh. Right? So what is happening behind the scenes? Now you need to also make one more observation. So let me copy this code and paste it here. Our code has become like this with by using lambda expression. So we have made the code very concise and very readable. Right? So let me copy this and let me paste it. Look at the difference. Okay, this is how the lambda expression codes looks like. Okay, now what is happening? Now you might have got some understanding about the functional interface. The function interface itself. Okay, what is that understanding that you have got so far? Okay, now you see, let me enhance your thought process. Okay, now based upon our code, so you have written a logic. Okay, just imagine that this is a kind of an interface. Okay, function interface. So you have written a logic and you have taken the arguments as string. Okay, the first argument is representing the input. Okay, the whatever the input that you're passing should be a string type. The second argument is representing the return type. Okay, that is also string. Okay, ideally, our data is what? When you look at our data, okay, we are passing each and every string, and the requirement is each and every string needs to get converted to the uppercase. These are the input statement. We have Ratna, we have Balaji, we have followed by Jyoti, we have Ramya, and we have Venkatesh. These are the strings that we have with us, right? Okay, input is string. And what is the logic that you have written? Only one line of code. Okay, you will pass a string. The t is representing a string. Okay, you will pass a string, and that string needs to get converted to the uppercase. Okay, firstly, what will happen? You are using what? You are using the enhanced for loop. You are using enhanced for loop. When you use this loop, each and every string will get inside the function in the orderly fashion. Okay, each and every string will be applied on this function. Will be applied on this function, and you are calling the apply method. This apply method will take that string and it will do some manipulations and it will give the output in the form of uppercase. This is the code that you have written. This is a code that you have written to do what? To capture a string and convert that to uppercase. Okay, ideally, what is happening behind the scenes? Okay, firstly, Ratna will enter inside as an input. Okay, and the T is representing Ratna. T is representing Ratna, and you are doing what? T dot to uppercase. So this Ratna has to get converted to uppercase, right? Now this Ratna will become as this Ratna, the uppercase Ratna. Okay, and it will be written. It will be written. Okay, next case is Balaji. Balaji will go as an input. Okay, Balaji is string, right? It will go as an input. Okay, and the what is the logic that you have written? Balaji needs to convert to what? Uppercase. Okay, this will be converted to what? Uppercase. Balaji becomes what? Balaji, and this will be returned to the console. Okay, so here you need to observe two things. This string input, this string is output. Okay, function will expect two arguments. One is the input type, second one is the return type. Okay, if you want to perform any operations, okay, if you consider the input type as string, if you also consider the output should also be a string, and you should pass the arguments in such a way that you will take the input type as will pass two arguments. The first argument is input type, which is representing as T. Second argument is return type, which is representing R. Okay, this is the case study. We will see a few more examples. Now I want to see now second example. Second example will be very interesting. Okay, this is the first example. To convert the string to uppercase. The second example is I want to write a function. Write a function to convert, to find the length of the given string. To find the length of the given string. Okay, I have 5 strings with me, guys. Ratna, Balaji, Jyoti, Ramya, and Venkatesh. I want to find the length of all these 5 strings. How I can do that? Okay, I want to write a function. What are my expectations? Okay, I want to find the length of the given string. Okay, there will be a string given. For example, if I have a string Ratna, Ratna is an input. Just try to focus here. Ratna is an input. Input is of what type? Input is of string type. What is my actual requirement? I want to find the length. Means Ratna has length of 5, right? 5 is an output. So output is an integer. Right? So I am passing string as input. I want to get integer as an output. So how I can write a function for this? Okay, I can write a function for this like function input is string, return type is what? Output, or I can say the output as what? Integer. Because I want to find the length of a given string. Given string is string itself. Output should be a length. Length is integer. That's why I'm taking integer here. Okay. So the name is what? Let me take it as F1 for the better understanding. Okay. I will take a string. I will get a string. I need to find the length. S dot length. That's it. Done. This is a simple function which will accept a string, okay, as an input. And what you are trying to do, you are returning the length of the string. Okay, same example. If you go back here, the same case. So this time it is going to be what? New. Let me. Just imagine that this is a function interface. This time input is Ratna. If you pass Ratna, okay, Ratna is an input. So don't think about Ratna as an input. Think it as like string as an input. What is your expectations? Output should be a number. Output should be a number. Number is what? Integer, right? Okay, what is the logic that we have written? This is the logic. We will pass an input which is a string type, and the output is what? Output is an integer. Okay, so when you pass Ratna, Ratna will go as an input. Okay, and there is a logic written here inside the function. This logic will return the length. Okay, Ratna will be converted to length, which is what? 5. Instead of Ratna, output will be what? 5. 5 will be returned to the console. Whatever the string that you pass, you will get the length of that particular string. Okay, so always remember, you will pass 2 arguments. One is input type, second one is the output type. If I run this code on, if I call apply method on this reference variable, f1 dot apply, okay, you will find the length of each string. 5, 7, it is not meaningful, right? So I can do what? I can do what? Yes plus. Okay, now the output is going to be meaningful. So Ratna 5, Balaji 7, okay, and Jyoti 6. Ramya, okay, why Balaji 7? One space is here, okay. Even space is also getting considered. Okay, now you will get the meaning. This is second example. Okay, now third example. Okay, third example, and I want to write a function, okay. So I want to write a function to find the to find the square root of a given number. For example, let me take some set of integers, guys. It is happening. Let me restart this 1 minute. Now I want to. So my requirement is I want to write a function. Okay, I have a set of integers. Let us say that I am storing some integer values. Okay. Write a function to find the square of the given numbers. So where else we can take numbers? I am taking the numbers as a separate entity. Okay, numbers. So I have some set of numbers. Let's take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I have some set of numbers with me. I want to find the square root of this number. If I pass 2, output should be 4. If I pass 3, output should be what? 9. If I pass 4, output should be 16. So if you talk about the input and output, always try to make a calculation. Okay, input is a number. Input is what? Input is a number. Okay, so number means in Java, integer will be representing a number. So output is what? Output is also a number. Square root of the given number, right? So that is also a number. That is also an integer. So how I can write a function for this? So you can write a function like function. We will pass number as an input. So number is an integer, right? So take integer, comma, output is a square root of the given number. That is also an integer, right? Integer. Okay, let me take a reference label. So any number you will pass, right? So let us say that number is n. We want to find the square root, n into n. That's it. So f1 is already there, so I am taking f2. Right? So you pass any number. For example, for the simplicity, if I want to pass a number like f2 dot apply, if I want to pass a number like 100, it's going to give me the square root of 100. Okay, let me remove this. You are getting it. If I want to apply this function, I want to apply this function on this array. How I can apply that? I can use the for each loop. Okay, and integer nu inside numbers. Okay, so I can do what? System dot out dot println nu plus the square of, I'm just trying to print the meaningful number. The square of the given number nu is plus call this function f2 dot apply method and pass the nu. Okay, so every number will be passed and you will be able to see the square of its number. Square of 2 is 4, the square of 3 is 9, the square of 4 is 16, 5, 25, 36, 49. Right? So why I am giving all these examples? Okay, the combination of input and output. Here you are passing two strings. Okay, here you are passing string and integer. Here you are passing integer as well as integer. This is the third example. Okay, now I think you have got some understanding about what? Some understanding about the function interface. Function itself is a function interface. You have got some understanding. Okay, on this understanding, let me introduce you something here. Okay, let us try to understand the difference between predicate and the function. Okay, so if you want to know about predicate, we know we have discussed about this predicate already. Predicate is what? It is going to do the conditional check. If you have a requirement like the output should always be the conditional check, the implementation should always be there to make the conditional check, to perform the conditional check, then you can go for predicate. But function is not like that. If you want to do certain operations, whereas the results, some results are specific to our requirements. In our examples, we have seen 3 examples, right? See, we are dealing with an input and output is a string. Here input is string, output is integer. Here input is integer, output is integer. Okay, the output is talking about different things. First time it is a string, second time is integer, third time is integer. The requirements are different, not the boolean. For the predicate, the output is always, return type is always boolean, but for the function, it can be anything. Depends upon the requirement. If that is the situation, if the requirements are changing frequently, then you can go for function. That's second point. Predicate takes one type argument which represents the input argument type. Okay, this is how we can write a predicate. Predicate T. But function is not like that. Function is going to take 2 type arguments. Okay, first type they represent the input type, second type is representing the return type. Right? So this is how the predicate looks like. Predicate interface has one abstract method called test method. Function interface has one abstract method called the apply method. The last point, so this is the typical syntax of the predicate interface. So this is the typical syntax of the function interface. Okay, when you see predicate, it is accepting only one argument, which is what? The input type. Because the return type is always boolean, it cannot be changed. But inside the function, you are passing two arguments. One is the input type, second one is the return type. Okay, return type is here and input type is here. Okay, it is always boolean, but here return type can be anything. So this is the simple differences between the predicate and the function. Okay, I want to write one more program. See, my requirement is this time. My requirement is very simple. Write a function to remove spaces from the given string. Okay, let us say that I have a string like string s equal to Java programming language. Okay, my requirement is I want to remove spaces and print. My output should be Java programming language without spaces. How I can write a function for this? Okay, whenever you're writing a function for this, always remember, okay, what is input type and what is the return type. Okay, the input type is string, the return type is or must be also string. So I am taking what? I am taking string comma string. Okay, let me take the name of the function variable as f3. Okay, I want to do what? I want to remove spaces. See, whatever the string I am getting, I want to perform an operation. What kind of operation? I want to call a method called replace all method is there. We have discussed about this method, the string manipulation. So replace all. Okay, wherever the spaces are there, I want to close the spaces with an empty string. I want to what? I want to close those spaces. I want to remove those spaces. Okay, there are two spaces here. Here one space is there. Okay, here another space is there. I want to enclose those spaces with empty string. What does it say? Lambda expression cannot declare another. Okay, already this is defined. Okay, let me take S1. Because this S is variable is already defined here somewhere. I think okay, here it is already defined. That's why we cannot use that one. S1. Whatever the string variable name that you are passing, whatever the string name that is going to collect. Okay, so this to enclose. So how we can imagine this? This is the last imagination. Okay, so just imagine this like a system. Imagine this like a system. Okay, so this is your function interface. When you are asked to write a function interface where the input is a string and output is also a string. Okay, function string comma. Right? What is our string? Java programming language. Input Java programming language. What is the logic that we have written for this? We have written a typical lambda expression. So this is a lambda expression. Okay, let us keep that logic here. Okay, you will pass the input as this. Okay, and this is representing what? This is completely representing S1. Okay, and you are doing what? You are calling the replace or method on top of S1. So you are replacing what? There is a space here. You are just removing this space. There are two spaces, so you are removing those spaces, and output will be in the form of what? Java programming language without the spaces. Right? Are we getting the same output? Let us check that. System.out.println. Okay, F3 dot apply method. Which string you want to pass? You want to pass yes. Right? Let me Java programming language without spaces. So when you have any string with a lot of spaces, that spaces will be removed. Let me add few more spaces here. Java programming language. You are passing a string with lot of spaces. All the spaces are getting removed, and the output is coming without spaces. This is how we can write a Okay, now the fifth program. Okay, you need to develop the intuition every time writing the program. Now my program is write a function to count the spaces, to count the number of spaces in the given string. Okay, same string you will take, you will write a function to count the number of spaces. Okay, let us keep it very simple. Okay, so if I ask you, we as a human being, we can say that there are two spaces. So the count is two. Yes or no? The count is two. If you observe one thing, we want to write a function to count the number of spaces. Count is talking about the number. So always remember here the input type is string, the output is a number. So the output return type has to be what? Integer. How to write a function for this? Call the function interface and the input type is string, output type is what? The integer, or the return type is what? The integer, because you want to count the number of spaces. Okay, and let me take it as f4 equal to, you catch any string. Okay, so for example, see how you can write this is, okay, for example, if you have this string like Java programming language. Okay, firstly what you will do, first find the length of the string. First find the length of the string. We will get some length. First you will find what? Length of the string. Length of the given string. Then you will do what? You will minus that width by removing the spaces. You will calculate the length of the given string without spaces. What I mean to say is, find the length of the string with the spaces, length with spaces minus length without spaces. Without spaces, you will get what? You will get the exact count of the spaces, right? You will get the exact count of the spaces. Same logic. How I can implement this? Okay, first find the length of the given string. So to find the length of the given string, there is a method called length method. s1 dot length. Okay, minus find the length of the given string without spaces. Okay, firstly I need to remove the spaces. To remove the spaces, we know how to do it. We need to replace those spaces with the empty string. Okay, after removing the spaces, then find the length of the string. Okay, find the length of the string with the spaces. Without the spaces, you will get the number of spaces. Right? Pass the string system.out.println f4 dot apply method. Okay, pass the string yes. You should get the count as 2. Output should be 2. Because there are two spaces here. Right? So this is the simple understanding about the function interface. Now we will go with the real-time example. Now we focus here. If you have any doubts, all your questions will be answered. So this is the real-time example. Not the real-time example. Somewhat it looks something like a very meaningful example. Okay, I want to write a program. Using what? Using function interface to find the grade of the student. Okay, so let us say that we have some of the college students, junior college students. Okay, if they are securing score, if their scores are greater than or equal to 80, okay, we should return what? A grade. Distinction. Okay. If their scores are greater than or equal to 60, we should return what? B grade, first class. Focus here. First class. If the scores are greater than or equal to 50, should be C grade, okay, and second class. Okay. If the scores are greater than or equal to 35, D grade, third class. At last, if the scores are lesser than 35, E grade, fail. Okay, so I want to find. So my student object is going to have two properties. For the simplicity, I am going to consider only two properties. So let me remove all these things. Okay, we do not want all this. I want to deal with the objects from. class student. I'm taking a student class. This student class is going to have only two properties. One is the name property. Okay. Second one is what? The marks property, integer. Right? I want to define a constructor for this to initialize the instance variable. Focus here. Focus here. This will be very, very interesting. First, generate constructor using this. I'm using shortcuts to generate constructors. Okay. I'm taking two properties, name and the marks, and I have generated the constructor for this. Okay. I am also overriding the toString method. Public string toString. Okay, and I want to return what? I want to return name plus marks. Okay, my student class has been created successfully. I want to store the data. For that, what I am doing, I am creating a student object. I am going to create 5 student objects. Student 1 equal to new student. Okay, the name of the first student is, let us take it as Ratna. Okay, let's say that Ratna has secured 90. Okay, and the name of the second, let me take 5 more students. S1, S2, S3, S4, and S5. Okay, Ratna, and let us take Suresh, let's take Ramesh, let us say, Vignesh, let us say, Yakish. Okay, 90, and this person has scored 70. Okay, Ramesh has scored something like 50. Vignesh has scored something like 40. Yakesh has scored something like 20. Okay, don't take these marks personally. Okay, so I have created 5 student objects. So because of this, what are the things that are going to happen behind this? Focus, I am going to explain in a good way. So 5 objects will be created, right? So we have totally what? How many objects are going to get created? 5 objects going to get created. What are the reference variables for these 5 objects? Okay, S1, S2, S3, S4, S4. So this is going to be typically what? S1 object, this is S2 object, this is S3 object, this is S4 object, and this is S5 object. Right? So the what are the names? Okay, Ratna, Suresh, Ramesh, Vignesh, and Yakesh. Right? So this is for Ratna, Ramesh, Suresh, Vignesh, and Yakesh. Yakesh, the fifth object, Yakesh. So what are the scores? Okay, typically 90, 70, 50, 40, 20. 90, 70, 50, 40, and you have what? You have 20. So we are good with this thing. So because of this, we have 5 objects are getting created behind the scenes. So these are the objects. So S1, S2, S3, S4, S5. So far good. What I want to do now, after creating objects individually, I want to store all these objects in the array list. I'm taking an array list. This array list is going to take the object as the student object. Okay, and variable name is list equal to new array list. Okay, I'm adding all these. Sorry guys, actually there was a little disturbance. I am just sharing the screen once again. I don't know, it is getting automatically off. Okay. So what I have just done so far is I have created 5 objects. I have created 5 objects, and I have we have represented these 5 objects like this. And now I am going to use an array list to store all these 5 objects. Okay, array list dot add. So I'm going to add each and every student object in this array list. So I want to add these 5 objects. So what are the reference variables that we have? We have S1, you have S2, you have S3, you have S4, and you have S5. Okay, because of these things, what are the things that are going to happen behind the scenes? What are the basic things that is going to happen behind the scenes because of this code? Okay, and an array list will be created behind the scenes. Okay, and this array list is going to store all these 5 objects. Usually the array list will be of size what? Size 10, default size. Okay, all these 5 objects will be stored here. First object, okay, the second object, because you are adding all these objects to an array list. The third object, okay, the fourth object, okay, and last we have fifth object. Things are done. Things has got successfully settled like this behind the scenes. Right? So after this, what we want to do? You want to write a logic by using the function. Okay, you want to implement the function interface to display the grades. Display what? Display the grades. Okay, this function is going to accept 2 arguments. First argument is the input type is student object. We'll pass the student object. Okay, we'll pass the student object, and output should be in the form of what? The string type. It should display what grade the student is holding, what grade the student has got secured. Okay, I'm writing this as grades equal to, now focus here. You are passing a student object. I'm taking it as yes. Okay, this is a big function method because it is going to have multiple number of lines. If it is only one line, I can keep only one line of code. This logic is going to have the multiple lines of code. This you are going to extract what? You are passing the student object. You are passing student object and you want to extract the student marks. I'm taking a variable marks and you want to extract what? S dot marks. Okay, firstly, if you go back here, firstly Ratna will go inside. Okay, you want to extract only the marks of Ratna. Okay, so you are collecting that marks first. You are just collecting that marks by using this reference variable s dot marks, because object has 2 data. Name data is there and the marks is there. You just want to get the marks and you are storing that in the variable marks itself. After that, you are doing the comparison. If the marks are greater than equal to what? Marks are greater than equal to 80. What we should return? We should return, okay, A grade. A grade distinction. Okay, else if we have many conditions, right? If the marks are greater than or equal to, what is the conditions that we have taken here? 60 B grade. Isn't it? 60, we have what? We have B grade. Greater than or equal to 60. Okay, return B grade. So B grade is what? First class. First class. Like this, we have a few more conditions. C grade, D grade, and E grade. The marks are greater than or equal to 50. So you have what? You have a C grade, which is what? Which is second class. The marks are greater than or equal to 40. It's a D grade. D grade is what? Third class. Okay. The marks are greater than or equal to 50, 40, and at last, the last condition. Else, the marks are lesser than 35. Okay. Else return E grade. This is the typical logic. It will take each and every object. It will check all these conditions. If the marks are greater than 80, A grade, 60, B grade, 50, C greater than or equal to 40, D. If the marks are not matching these conditions, okay, we can consider it as a failed, or I can say that this is 35. Okay, below 35 cases are failed cases. Okay, this is the function logic. Okay, now what I am doing, so this is the function logic. By all this logic are stored in the grid. So this is the lambda expression only. Since there are many lines, you cannot quantize this code. You cannot optimize this further. There are many lines of, if there is only one line, you can optimize this. You need to perform a lot of conditional checks, so you need to keep all this information. Right now, what you want to do, you want to call for each loop each student object in the list. Students inside the list. You're using the enhanced for loop. Inside this enhanced for loop, what you want to display it here, right? System.out.println. Okay. Students dot name. First, you want to display the name. The name. If you get locked out of this meeting, please rejoin. It will take only 5 more minutes. The name of the student is students dot name. I am extracting the name of the object. I am extracting the marks of the object. The marks secured by the student is students dot marks. Okay. If I just run this code without using the function, okay, without implementing the logic of the function, you will get information like this. Name of the student is Ratna. The marks secured by Ratna is 90. Okay, this is not meaningful. I want to do what? I want to implement our requirement. I want to implement our logic. What is our logic? Our logic is placed inside this grades variable. I want to call this grades variable. So what I want doing is system.out.println. Okay, the grade is plus call the grades reference variable on top of apply method and pass the students object. Okay, after doing this, I want to print something like a star to separate the student list. If I run this code, the output is going to be what? See, you will get the name of the student Ratna. Ratna, the marks secured by the student is 90. The grade is A. Name of the student Suresh, B. Right? Like Vignesh, 3rd class, Rakesh, something like that. Don't take these things as personally. Okay, nowadays people who are failing or people who are securing 3rd class, they are CEOs of the company, they are doing the business things. People who are actually securing the distinction, they are working as an employees for these two guys. So don't take these things personally. This is just an example. Okay, so this is how it can be. Now I want to combine the function as well as I want to combine the predicate. How I can do that? I want to do what? Let us say that I am a chairman of a particular college. Let us say that I am chairman of a particular college and I want to take admissions based upon the student grades who has secured more than 60%. Who has secured what? Who has secured more than 60%. Right? In order to achieve that, I want to use the function as well as I want to use the predicate. I want to find the students who have secured the grades more than 60%. In order to write a logic for that, I can take a predicate. This predicate will accept the student object more than 60 equal to take any reference variable s1 dot marks is greater than or equal to 60. I want to consider admissions for them. Why it is giving error? Let me take a different reference variable name s3. Okay. Because those variables are duplicated, so I am taking std that marks greater than or equal to 60. I want to combine these two logic. How I can combine this? If more than 60 is a predicate, dot what is the method inside the predicate? Test method. Test method is there inside the predicate, right? Okay, I want to place this if condition inside here. Okay, I want to pass the student's object. Okay, this predicate is going to filter all the students who have secured more than 60%, right? And it is going to print the information of those students who have secured more than 60%. So I am using what? I am using both the predicate as well as the function. Okay, this function is meant to display the student grades. This predicate is meant to filter the student information who has secured more than 60%. If I run this piece of code, I will get only two-person information, who is Ratna and Suresh. They have secured 90 and 70. There are no other persons who has scored more than 60. Isn't it? Let us go to the student object. Is there any other person who has scored more than 60? No. Only these two persons have secured more than 60. So you are doing a conditional check by using predicate, as well as you are writing a function interface. You are writing a function to get the grades. You are combining two interfaces together. Okay, how this can be imagined behind the scenes? Okay, where is our paint screen? This is our paint screen. Okay, so let me import that interface. So this time, every time a student object will be passed. Okay, for the better understanding, I am taking the first student object. Okay, Ratna, marks is 90. Okay, this is what object actually? This is the student object, right? So the input is student object. So you are passing this whole thing as an object. Okay, this is not a string, this is not an integer. This is the student object. That is the reason why I have taken the function. Okay, if you look at the function, the input is student object, because you are going to consider the student object, right? So you are passing this object, it will go as an input. What is the logic that you have written for the function? What is the logic that you have written for this function? The logic says you will extract only the marks. Will extract only the marks. Marks are 90. Okay, you have written logic in such a way, if the marks are greater than or equal to 80, right, and you should display what? You should display as the A grade distinction. You have written a very big logic, right? Okay, so output is what? This A grade distinction. This A grade distinction is coming as an output, which is of what type? Which is of what? String type. Okay, your logic says, okay, you will take the student object, you will just fetch this, you will just take the marks, and you will perform some logical operations, and you will decide whether this marks is commonly under which category, like A grade category or B grade category, C grade category. So the input type is student type, the output type is string type. Right? That is the reason I have taken this predicate as what? The input type is student type, output is return type is string type. Okay, you are extracting marks firstly, then you are performing some conditional checks to return what? To return string itself. Right? That's why in the for each loop, okay, this for each loop will take each and every object, it will extract marks, and it will apply the the function method to display the grades. And again, what I have did for the I have combined the predicate logic also. I have written a predicate logic to extract the students who are secured more than 60%. And I can also fetch a mark like who I can extract students who has secured less than or equal to 60. I can rewrite this logic. To rewrite this logic, I will get the information of all the students who are secured less than 60. So we have Ramesh, we have Vignesh, we have Yakesh. Okay, so just try to repeat this video once again. So we have 4 more points to be added here. Tomorrow we will discuss about one real-time example where we can use these functions concept. Then you will get the better understanding. Just repeat this video once again for the better clarity. Okay, that's all from my side. And if you have any questions, you can ask me. I don't think you will have any questions. Just revise this video. From tomorrow onwards, the classes will be continuous. Okay, so thank you so much for your time. Have a nice day. We will see.